And when I was in my 20s, going out on the field and going and lifting 200 quid and going out there and making people's days, making loads of friends, making loads of sales and making loads of money. I'd done good today. I'd made a mark today. I'd done something today and everybody had benefited. It made my heart feel good. They're like, oh, maybe I didn't close. I got to get a better close, got to get a better overturn. I'm like, no, you need to be a systematic salesperson. So when I was on the field, I was very systematic. I'm a very systematic person. And I find comfort in my systems and routines. So how do you keep focused? Number one, stop. Stop, breathe, right? This is what I used to do. Stop and breathe. And I used to look up at the clouds and I would just go, everything's gonna be okay. You knock on a door, you can hear the person walking towards you. You got two options. Run. You can run.
Okay, what's option
Or
two?
you stay and you sell. So guess what my advice is? Knock. Hear those footsteps because you got one thing to do. Stay and fight. Let's go. When you've lost your attitude, you know, it is tough. Number one is awareness, is be aware. Go, okay, I think I've lost my attitude. That's fine. But a really good salesperson said to me, you'll never sell with a bad attitude. So there's no point to keep selling. Go and do whatever makes you feel good for 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
Now, the next thing you do is don't go up and try and sell and put loads of pressure on yourself. Just go make a friend.
Yep. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Extra 5%, a podcast designed for ambitious people that are looking for that little bit extra to get them to the next level. I'm Christian Dine, and today we are back with Gilles Baudet to talk all about his mentality on the field in direct sales. Gilles is back today by popular demand. I've had several of his sales brand ambassadors sending in questions that they just need the answers to. In today's episode, you can expect to learn how to deal with negative customers, how to cope when people around you aren't performing, how to drop your ego and master the field, and much, much more. Gilles,
Christian,
welcome back.
thank you. It's been a while.
I know, it's good to have you back
We're
on.
back.
I actually heard a rumor
Okay.
that you were on the field recently.
Okay, I was, yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Had a good time.
What inspired you to go back on the field? I'm just curious.
Just to see what was happening. Just to see if the field had changed, just to see what was happening. And it was great fun. It was very, very similar to what I remembered. The people were great. We made loads of sales and we had loads of fun. And I realized, you know, the field will always just be the field. And, you know, it's a great place to be, a great place to build teams and businesses. And it was great just to go back and realize I still got it. It wasn't some scary demon out there. It's just the field. It's just people.
How long had it been since you'd been on the field?
A couple of months.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then I went in the field in Carlisle, but before that it'd been years. So
Right.
twice in the last couple of months. Yeah.
Okay, nice. But obviously there was a pretty big gap in the interim there.
Yeah.
So I guess my first thing, you said that field's not changed. So
Field's not changed.
So talk to me about your mentality when going on the field.
My mentality has always been the way I look at the field is like it's like a game. Send me anywhere, give me any product, you know, any weather. It never really fazed me. The way I looked at it was, I'm going to go and lift 200 quid today. That's it. Today, I'm lifting 200 quid off this TES today. And that was it. It's like, give me my territory, and it's more like a challenge. And I think what gave me my confidence in the end was I understood why the system was so important. And I realized that if I went on the field and I had a great pitch and I was armed with a great pitch, I knew my pace was going to be high. And I saw enough people to find my green lights, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And I maintained a positive attitude all day. I knew I could go and sell. There's always two customers every day. Every day, I believe, and when I went out in the field twice this year, it reinstated and reinforced that there are two customers minimum every day that you can sell to. And then to go from 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 and 4 to 10 is just your skill level. But as long as you've got a good pitch, a great pace, and a great attitude, you can go and lift 2 sales on there. For me, it was I just embellished the challenge, They say to my leader, send me anywhere, man. Send me anywhere. Watch this. I'll take 200 quid off the field today. So it was very, very a playing to win game for me. And that was my mentality towards the field.
And to clarify, the language that you're saying you're going to lift 200 quid, you don't mean like physically you're taking money from people. We mean that you're going to find enough sales.
Yeah. Well, I
just feel like we should clarify.
Well, back in 2001 and 2002 when I was on the field, I would lift cash.
Oh, right.
We used to sell products.
Right.
So my first campaign that I ever did in sales was we would sell promotional certificates from local restaurants and local gyms and local sort of nightclubs and bars, et cetera, et cetera. So my first ever one was a pizza client.
Right. Okay.
And the new pizza company arrived in the UK and launched in the UK, and they used us to promote their pizzas. And it was great. It was buy one, get one free pizzas for the next 6 months. I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Do you guys eat pizzas? They're like, yeah, great. I'd be like, do you think you're going to go down in the next couple of months and grab a few pizzas? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, great. Well, here's a voucher. It's going to cost you £30.
Right.
And you buy a pizza and the next one's going to be free. So usually your first visit with these Groupons, you'd get your money back.
All right.
So you're evens with me. And then for the next 6 months, the more pizzas, the more free pizzas you're going to get. And that's how it worked. 7-day gym passes, always like local restaurants that weren't doing as well would use us to go and drum up some customers and pile them through the door. And it used to be, buy a starter, get the first starter free, or the cheapest starter free. Buy your mains, get the cheapest main free. Cocktail bars, buy one cocktail, get one free. It was fantastic.
So you actually would have then the cash at the end of the day.
Yeah, so we would have the cash at the end of the day. Yeah,
such a foreign idea for me because
my clothes used to be cash, check, or plastic. What's best for you? So the pre-close was everybody's taking 1, 2, or 3 certificates because they want to give them to their friends. How many would you like? 1, 2, or 3, and then you'd wait for them to answer. So they're either going to tell you how many they want, or they're going to give you a negative, and you overturn. You go, great. Now that we've clarified that, how many would you like? 1, 2, or 3? And I used to just keep overturning close, overturning close, overturning close, overturning close, and then they'd be like 1. You'd be like, great. And with sales, possession is 9/10 of the sale, especially product sales. So I always used to have the certificate in their hand. So I'd be like, great, you're going to keep that one because that one is yours. Cash, and then the ultimate close was, now cash, check, or plastic. What's best for you? And they'd be like, oh, I've got 30 quid here. Great. Check. We used to have checks.
Oof.
Do you even know what a check is?
Yes, I've never used one.
No,
I've received some from uncles and grandparents in the past, but I can't say I've ever used a check.
Yeah.
Never had a
And
check.
then plastic. So they would give us the card details and we would ring up the office, and the administrator in the office would take down all the details and put it through like a PDF machine in the office. And that's how we used to do that. Didn't get many of them. It was just mainly cash. So we could easily lift 200 quid off the field every single day. So that was my mentality. I'd jump off the train or the bus. I would highlight I had an A to Z map that was photocopied, and that was my territory for the day. And I'd be like, right, that's where I'm going. Give me 100, 150 doors. I think now everybody's going for 120 because it's smack bang in the middle. Give me my territory and watch this space. It was, it was good. I just remember I loved the challenge. I'm like, bring it on. Let's go. It was like a, championship football match, Champions League football match. I'm going in and I'm going to win today. Bring it on. Rain, hail, or shine.
So I'm laughing at the photocopied map in my head. I'm being a fielded, sales advisor from last few years. Everything was Google Maps on the phone and all this, and so this is almost like a totally different world of sales I'm being exposed to here. So so money, obviously, going out in that challenge was clearly a kind of driving factor for your motivation. What else motivated you going on to the field?
Okay, so motivating myself on the field. It's a bit of a tricky one because although it's quite simple and we're always quite motivated because very motivated and ambitious people are attracted to our industry, motivating yourself all the time obviously got a little bit trickier. Motivation comes down to discipline. Discipline trumps motivation all the time. So what is discipline? Discipline is having the ability to do what you don't necessarily want to do, but you know you have to do in order to succeed. And that's a really, really big thing. So let me give you an example. Did I want to run off the bus and run straight to the first door and just start knocking straight away? No, of course not. I'd like to maybe busk in the sun. I'd like to, maybe go to the shops and get something to eat and drink and, maybe hang out with some of the other people I was with and have a bit of a banter for 5-10 minutes. But no, that's not going to set me up for success. So discipline was getting the first train. Well, let's start at the start. Getting out of bed on the first alarm. Turning up to work prepared, ready to go, nice and early, getting the first train to territory. Discipline was, disciplining yourself to go and run on the field and knock on as many doors as possible every single day so you had the most amount of chances to find the most amount of green lights, because you need only green lights to sell to. You can't sell to an amber. Well, maybe you can. If you're like Marcus Worrell, you can, right? Okay, cool. But apart from that, I could only sell to green lights, and you definitely can't sell to red lights. So discipline was really, really big. Also discipline on keeping myself motivated. So, back in the day, I always used to buy magazines that interested me in holidays, cars, travel, homes, etc. Now it's all on my phone. So if I want to motivate myself about buying a new property, I can go to Rightmove, or I can go to international holiday homes. I can, you can go into Auto Trader, you can go on to Watch Finder. There's so many things to motivate you. It's good. But I think for me, you've got to be disciplined about continually learning how to motivate yourself all the time, and don't take that for granted. Don't take your motivation today for granted, because it might disappear. We are all human beings. People need to realize this. All human beings forget stuff, go off the track, have good days, have bad days. You wake out of bed and you're high, you can wake out of bed and you're low. And people think like someone like me, never gets out of bed and feels low. Like this morning, I did not want to get out of bed. Didn't want to get out of bed. I was so tired. I was like, oh my God, is it 7 o'clock already? Do you know what I mean? I'm a human being like everybody else, but I've got the discipline to get out of bed, get my morning routine, and get ready. So I know no matter how I wake up, I'm going to arrive at a 10. So motivating yourself is this. The short-term motivation is really enjoyable. It's like, I love competition. I want to be on the leaderboard. Now we've got, digital leaderboards. But back in the office, back in the day, there was a leaderboard printed out every single day, and I'd see my name where it is, and I just had to get to the top. I am beating you. I'm beating you. I'm beating you. I love to, ego's a great thing if you understand how to control it. And I wanted to be the best. I had to be #1 salesperson. I wanted that reputation. Because when the #2 salesperson walks in, everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. There's such and such. But when #1, everybody goes, okay. It's a different presence. It's a different vibe. And I wanted to be that vibe. So I worked really hard to be #1. I loved beating people. I just loved to beat people. I loved competition. I'm like, you're going down today, by the way. You are going down. And all day, I'd be thinking in my head, God, wonder what that person's on. They're probably on a couple of sales. I need to work harder. I need to close harder. I need to keep overturning. I need to get better. I need to beat that person. And when I lost, I was just gutted. I'm like, oh, coming back tomorrow. Couldn't sleep. I'm just like, coming back tomorrow. But then when I won, it was just such a good feeling. For me, sales gives me a lot of fulfillment, because if you achieve in sales, no one else can go and do the sales for you. You're the one that sells. It's not like a like on Instagram or a like on Facebook. Like, to go out there, rain, hail, or shine, or in Scotland, cold and rain.
Rain, sun, rain, snow, or rain.
Rain, snow, rain, no, freezing. You go out in Scotland and you go and do a couple of sales. It feels great because you did it. We all chase happiness. Well, happiness comes from fulfillment. And when I was in my 20s, going out on the field and going and lifting 200 quid and going out there and making people's days, making loads of friends, making loads of sales and making loads of money. I'd done good today. I'd made a mark today. I'd done something today and everybody had benefited. It made my heart feel good, you know? And I think, you know, that's such a special thing. And I loved money. At 21, I'm like, I need money. I needed to pay my rent. I needed to pay my council tax. Council tax was the thing back then. I love food. I had a food habit, so I need to feed it. Do you know what I mean? I love to go out. You know, I love to hang out with my friends. I like to go, you know, we play golf, we play tennis, we'd go and do all sorts of stuff on the weekends. So I was quite a social and active young man, and that cost money. And money gave me freedom. Freedom. Because if you don't have money, I wasn't free. And I needed that freedom. And I knew if I got great at sales, I could make £1,000 a week back then in the field. And if I could go make £1,000, my weekends were free. You know, if I wanted to go play golf and buy a driver, I could go and do that. If I wanted to go and buy a tennis racket, I could do that. If I wanted to go with my friends and go to the movies, I could do that. Freedom. If I wanted to, you know, buy a new pair of trainers, I could do that. And that gave me really big fulfillment. It wasn't purchasing the pair of trainers that gave me the fulfillment. It was me having the ability as a young man to generate enough money by myself to purchase what I needed for my life. Powerful. Powerful. I wasn't on a basic wage. I wasn't relying on anybody else. Mommy and daddy didn't give me the money. I went out in the rain and I sold. I knocked on a cold door and within 20 minutes had sold them something that they knew nothing about, earned my commission, and was able to go and have a freedom, have a life, have a social life with all that. I thought that was incredible. I was creating my own life. And that, I got off on that. That fed that ego. That fed that happiness, that fed whatever inside me that was yearning for more. I was like, wow. And when I knew I could do that on a smaller scale, I was like, what's next? You know, how far if we get this? There's two types of well, there's lots of motivations. The first type of motivation is forward and backward. So I think I've explained this beforehand. So you've got your forward motivation. It's quite self-explanatory. This is what I want.
Motivated towards something.
I'm going towards what I want. It could be a sales target. It could be money. It could be a car. It could be a promotion. It could be anything. Backward motivation is I'm running away from something. So, you know, I was always fearing of failure, fearing of not having enough, fear of not being good enough, fear of, you know, not succeeding where I wanted to succeed in life. I had a fear of just not being where I, Gilles Baudet, wanted to be in life. And Christian, I used to get petrified.
Really?
That was a huge motivator. That's one of the reasons why I didn't hang around at the car when we arrived on territory and, you know, chit chat and go get some food, because I was scared. I'm like, if I don't start pitching and I don't start moving, I'm not going to achieve my goals when I'm 30 and 40 and 50. And I'm like, as you get older, life becomes more complicated.
Also becomes faster.
And becomes faster. You don't have the time. You got other things distracting you. It's like, it's more difficult. I believe the more older you become, the more difficult it is to create success. You've got to do it as early as possible. Can you still do it at 30? Of course. Can you still do it at 30, 40? Of course you can. I'm not saying it's not, but it's a little bit more difficult. So I was 21. I'm like, I got to get cracking. I got to get going. Like, I got to get going. So I'm like, you guys and girls hang here. You have a great time. I'm going to get knocking. Sometimes I remember I was on a sale, because I used to sometimes do sales on the way to territory. So I would be on 1 or 2 sales, not every day, but some days before I reached my territory. And then I remember one clear day in Timperley, which is right near Sale. I had done a sale on the tram, and before everybody had left the car, because they went to the shops and they got a cheese and chips. They used to get cheese and chips, right?
Okay.
And then they sit in the car and eat cheese and chips and listen to the radio, because there was no Spotify 20 years ago. And I came back to the car, and I had done 2 sales, and they hadn't started knocking yet.
Winning.
And that's why I am a little bit further in my career. Well, probably a lot. It was just those habits that I formed. Now, would have I wanted to get a cheese and chips from the local chippy? Oh, are you kidding me?
I want one now.
A little bit of chocolate on top, a little bit of chocolate on the side, Huh? How amazing.
With cheese and
Dessert.
Ah, okay.
Dessert.
I'm thinking together. I'm like, it's weird.
No, not together. I love that. But I was scared of I was like, well, if that's going to be my habit in my 20s, what am I going to be like in my 30s? Where am I going to be? I always knew I'd have a daughter. I've got a son, the best.
Right.
But for some reason, when I was 21, 22 on the field, I always knew I'd have a daughter.
Okay.
I knew I'd find some woman who was crazy enough, right,
to deal with you,
to put up with me. Probably calm enough, because my wife is so calm enough, and have kids. I knew I'd have a daughter, and I'm like, what life do I want to give my daughter? And without even thinking, I would just start knocking. So you've got your forward motivation, your backward motivation. Then you've got your daily motivation. I'm going to win. I want to lift 200 quid. I'm going to be number 1 salesperson. I want to be the man. I want to be the woman. I'm going to be the best salesperson in the country. All those sort of daily motivations. I'm going to go buy a new pair of trainers. I'm going to go make $1,000 this week. Then you've got your long-term motivators, which is like where you want to be. It could be in 6 months. It could be in 6 years. It could be in 60 years. So, and I was very clear on what I wanted when I was 30s, 40s, 50s. So I was fixed at a certain age. I'm going to make X amount of money. I want to have this. So this is the house I want to live in. This is the life I want to have. This is how much I want to be earning. This is how big my business wants to be. Long-term motivation gives you the fuel to keep going every single day. Short-term motivation is like pushing the accelerator. So if you've got like a Ferrari, you put the fuel in, big tank of fuel. That's your long-term motivation. And then when you hit the accelerator, that's the daily motivation is, I'm going to go and be the best salesperson. I'm going to go and do 3 sales today. I'm going to go do 4 sales today. I'm going to go and reach the top of that wallboard or that leaderboard back in my day. That's the daily motivation. Sometimes the backward motivation also is going up a gear from second to third. It's like, right, okay, I'm scared. Do you know what I mean? It's that short term overtaking on the motorway situation in your Ferrari. Whereas when you pull into a petrol station and you fill up with gas, that's like going online now. Or me, it was talking to people or buying magazines and books and fueling my long-term motivation. So motivating is key. You've got to be disciplined. And if you're good at that, then everything else is very, very easy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You were talking in the car on the way here about there being 2 different types of salespeople. What do you mean by that?
You've got your systematic salesperson and your confident salesperson.
Okay.
So a confident salesperson is somebody that goes out and when everything goes their way, they'll go and do huge numbers. So if the territory is right, if the weather's good, if their mood is good, and they feel good, they'll go and succeed.
Okay.
We're all human beings. How often do you feel good?
Depends on the day, doesn't it?
How often does everything go your way?
Yeah. Well, no.
So not as often as we'd like. So they're very inconsistent.
Okay.
And it must be difficult for those people because they're like, why am I sometimes not selling? And it's up and down and they're left and right. And they ask themselves a lot of questions, why? And they often chase the wrong answers.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, maybe I didn't close. I got to get a better close, got to get a better overturn. I'm like, no, you need to be a systematic salesperson. So when I was on the field, I was very systematic. I'm a very systematic person. And I find comfort in my systems and routines. Mm-hmm. Because, and I did a bit of research on it, and we can go into it in a bit, but having, when you're on the field, if you're a systematic salesperson and you stick to the system, your chances of success are so much higher because you're not focused on so many things. Mm-hmm. So I've always got a bubble around me. I can control me and my bubble. I can't control what's outside of my bubble. So when you let external factors control your mind, it's going to be a very difficult day for you. Mm-hmm. So when you focus on your bubble and what you can focus on, what you can control, life becomes a lot easier. You need to have a system to follow, because when you've got a system to follow, your brain focuses on the system, not anything external. Yep. So the system on the field, you've got things like, if you're ever going out and selling, and in my experience, I used to have a system, and we used to have the thing called the 3 winning habits, which was smile, eye contact, and enthusiasm. So before every door I knocked, I'm like, smile, eye contact, enthusiasm, let's go. Smile, eye contact, enthusiasm, let's go. So I was ready. Mm-hmm. My bubble was my pitch, my pace, my attitude. I never cared what type of territory I went to, mansions or rough areas. I didn't care, because they're all human beings. And everything's different. Every rough area is different. Every posh area is different. I'm going to meet some interesting people. I never bothered. Raining, if I was selling telecommunications or energy, it's all the same. It's all, as long as I had a pitch and a pace and an attitude and a system to follow on the field, if I focused on that and ignored everything else, I found my day so easy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but how do you focus on that, though? It sounds like such an easy thing. I'll just focus on that. As you said, we're human beings. There's loads of distractions, even more so now that we're in the age of social media, and it's so easy just to go on your phone, start scrolling Instagram, and then you're away somewhere else. So how do you stay focused on the field?
How do you keep focused on the field? It is difficult. Mm-hmm. It isn't easy. Like, none of this stuff is easy. And in my first day, I wasn't like, I'm just a 21-year-old kid like anybody else. Mm-hmm. But I really wanted it, Christian. Mm-hmm. I really wanted it. And this is another thing. A lot of things coming to me. When you watch like Dragon's Den, mm-hmm. and they're all like, I wanted to be a millionaire at 3. I took my diaper off and went, I'm going to be a billionaire, Mum. Okay. I don't know if I believe that. Whatever. Definitely wasn't me. Mm-hmm. I was always like, I'd like to be a millionaire. I'd like to be a multimillionaire. I hope I get there. I'm going to give it all. I'm going to give it my all. I wasn't this confident person. Mm-hmm. What I was really good at is being in the moment.
Okay.
So how do you keep focused? Number 1, stop. Stop, breathe, right? This is what I used to do. Stop and breathe. Mm-hmm. And I used to look up at the clouds. Depending on where I was, it was usually clouds, right?
Scotland, yeah.
This is true. If I ever saw a blue bit, mm-hmm. which we call sky, in between the clouds, I would focus on the blue bit and be like, okay, cool, here we go.
That one way over there.
There it is. And I would just go, everything's going to be okay. It's a lot more simple. And I would just give my head a bit of a wobble. And I'd be like, back to basics. Am I smiling? Have I got eye contact? Am I enthusiastic? Am I building rapport? Am I closing hard? That's all I need to go make some friends. And I would just think, this is what I want. Bang, bang. I would repeat my goals. Bang, bang, bang. I used to call myself Gillie Boy. I'd be like, Gillie Boy, let's go. Let's go knock some doors. Let's go do your job. Come on, son. Self-talk. I'd be like, what we're going to do? Let's go knock some doors. That's really good. You could question yourself. What we're going to do? Let's go knock some doors. I was watching Last Dance with Michael Jordan. Oh, phenomenal. He had a lot of self-talk. Like, what we're going to do? Let's go win. So I say that. What we're going to do? Let's go knock some doors. Let's go close some people. I used to say, I'm the most charming salesman in the world. I am the best closer that has ever lived. I do a lot of positive talking, and I'd focus back on the systems. I go straight back to the systems. It's like pitch. What can I control? My pitch, my pace, my attitude. Have I got a pitch? I'd be like, yeah, I do. Pace? Absolutely. Attitude? Let's go. I'm smiling. I'm full of eye contact. I'm enthusiastic. Let's go make some friends. Let's go close some customers. Let's go have some fun. So, but I think it's just, for me, especially the Gen Z that we're talking about that are mainly starting out in sales, they've just got to be aware of what's happening. Oh, I'm not focusing. Just be aware. Just play this. Oh, okay. And if you're aware, I think that's 90% of the battle, because you can give your head a wobble and go, let's refocus. And my big thing was just chap a door again. Yeah. If I get somebody coming to the door, this is big, right? You knock on a door, you can hear the person walking towards you. You got two options. Run. You can run.
Wouldn't be a very good door-to-door sales person if you did.
What happened to your sales today? Oh, I ran.
Okay, what's option two?
Or you stay and you sell. So guess what my advice is? Knock. Hear those footsteps, because you got one thing to do. Stay and fight. Let's go. But if you don't knock and you sit there and get inside your head, then it's going to be difficult. I use nervousness or anxiety as excitement. Yep. And I perform. I'm like, whoa, go. I don't go, whoa. I'll just sit here till I feel better, because you never feel better. Yep. How many times have you gone, I don't feel like doing something, and you've gone 2 minutes later and gone, I feel like doing something. You never do it. Yep. I go to an ice bath every day. Yep. My ice bath this morning was 1 degree. I accidentally must have hit the button an extra time.
It's literally almost ice.
Almost ice. I was like, woo! This morning I'm like, whoa! That's gonna be cool. The difference from 3 to 1 is game changing. Game changing. Like game changing.
Just to clarify, how long did you do that for?
3 minutes. I'll tell you what I did this morning. So do you think I want to get at 3 degrees? No. 4 degrees? No. 1 degree? No. But my trick is I could sit there for 5 minutes and psych myself up. There is no difference between now or 5 minutes. I'm actually worse in 5 minutes.
Because you're building up in your head.
Because you're building up in your head and you're trying to you just get in your head. And people go, I'm just in my head. Great. Go. Move. Do.
Just get in.
Perform. Get in.
Knock the door.
Size of this. I just hit my stopwatch and just went straight in. Bang. I'm in. And then I got to 3 minutes and I punished myself, right, for thinking like that. And I stayed in for another 23 seconds. And then dipped my head back under, and then out I went. Now, here's another thing, full of little golden nuggets, I hope, today. I always think to myself and decide my decisions or actions by how am I going to feel after? Will I regret it? So do I ever regret an ice bath?
Probably not.
No. Do I ever regret not going in an ice bath? Yes. So what should I do?
Get in the ice bath.
Do you ever regret knocking on a door?
No.
No. Do you ever regret not knocking on loads of doors?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you ever regret giving it your all?
No.
Do you ever regret
Wish
being
I could have
lazy?
given it that little bit more. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like long-term pain. I much prefer short-term pain so I get long-term gain.
Yep.
I don't really want to be short-term gain for long-term pain. Get in the ice bath, knock the door. So I think focus is just being aware.
Yep.
Give your head a little bit of a wobble. Yep. Go right back to basics and just start knocking.
Okay. So that is a great kind of blueprint for what to do. How do you keep doing that when you're on the field and you're on zero sales and it's, you kind of start to look at the watch, like 5 o'clock, still not on a sale, 6 o'clock, still like, how do you keep that focus when your day's getting on and you still haven't made any sales?
I think it's the same. Often I'm not on, I was never on any sales until 6, 7 o'clock at night. And I think once or twice a week, that's going to happen, maybe 3 times a week. The first lap you do is farming the territory. So you get rid of all the time wasters and you might collect a sale or not, depends. And then the second time you go through is when more people that are more of the bill payers, have more money, have the better jobs, start coming home at night and making decision makers. And they are the ones that you want to sell to. And we farm our territory so then we don't have to waste time. Because prime time, we've only got 2.5 hours. So you don't really want to waste time with all of the red lights and amber lights and having less time in the evening to find the green lights.
Yep.
So for me, I went on the field twice in the last couple of months. You can't sell to everybody. You've got to find green lights. And how I am able to stay focused and have a great attitude and turn a day around, because I'm like, I know I haven't found the green lights yet. So I need to keep knocking. I need to find the green lights. I was on the field, like there are so many people you can't sell to. And I see people getting so down. They're like, oh, I'm not on any sales. I'm like, you've not had any green lights. You haven't even had amber lights. It's just been red. Open door. Dun, 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 dun. What do you expect? Even the Egyptian god, Marcus Worrell, would be on 0 right now. But the difference is really simple, is understanding the laws of average, understanding you need to keep speaking to people, understanding there are 2 out there every single day minimum. You've just got to go find them. The more dirt you sift, the more gold you will find. It's really that simple. But if you lose your attitude and you lose belief, by the time you find a green light, you're not going to be able to sell to them. The other thing is, you've got to believe in the law of averages, and you've got to understand that who knows where the green lights are. If I knew if we knew where the green lights were, then I would just go there myself. So for me, it's finding those green lights. And how I maintained my attitude at 7 o'clock if I was on 0 was I knew I didn't have enough green lights, so I needed to keep finding them. And I was even more eager and more motivated to go out there and sell. And the second thing is I just didn't want to be a quitter. I'm like, I know there are positive people out there. If I quit, then it's a 100% I'm going to fail. If I try, it's a 50-50. I much prefer those odds. I was really big on, I ain't stopping. I was really big on, I ain't quitting. I was really big on self-talk. I'm not a quitter. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. Gillie boy, you're a winner. And you can really bring that back into your purposes as well. It's like, how am I going to have my dream house if I give up at 7 o'clock? If Liverpool played United, and they gave up, say United, I'm not a big football fan, so please don't judge me on what I'm saying, right? Or let's do something easier. If Australia was playing New Zealand, where I'm from, okay?
That's your wheelhouse.
And it was rugby, right? And New Zealand was winning. And then Australia gave up in the second half. There's no chance they're going to win. They're never going to lift the trophy. There's never going to be any glory. They're not going to. They can't write history. So if you give up at 7 o'clock, when you've got an hour and a half left of the primest of prime time with all the green lights about to arrive, how can you you're not going to create history. You're not going to go out there and do any sales. So it was a bit of a pride thing. I'd really lock into my goals. And I remember thinking, I'm going to have a daughter one day, and I can't say, sorry, we can't have this or we can't do that because daddy lost his attitude at 7 o'clock. But I couldn't live with that.
Okay. So
I don't mean to be harsh, but that was it. I'm like, I ain't going to tell my kids, sorry, daddy lost his attitude. I couldn't live with that.
Well, I think it works both ways because obviously people are motivated by different things.
Yeah.
I know personally I'm definitely more intrinsically motivated than extrinsically. I've never really been attracted to the fancy cars or the houses and stuff like that, but I love the buzz that you get when you are having one of those days where it's just red light, red light, red light, red light, and you keep telling yourself, you're like, just work, find the positive people, and then when you do and you win the game and you find those people towards the end of the day, the buzz you get, it's ridiculous. All right, so that all sounds well and good when you keep your attitude, but as we know, we don't live a perfect world, and you will lose it, right? So how do you regain your attitude when you struggle with that and kind of save what's going towards a bad day?
In my experience, it's tough. It's tough. You got to protect your attitude. For me, it was number one, realizing I've lost it. As I said, awareness. To go, okay, I'm not as positive. I'm not reacting. What is attitude? Attitude is the way in which we react to situations. A positive attitude, in my experience, is the amount of positive energy you put into each action. So you need a positive attitude to sell because you need to impulse customers with your positivity to increase their impulse above the buying line so you can close them. So when you've lost your attitude, it is tough. Number one is awareness. Just be aware. Go, okay, I think I've lost my attitude. That's fine. And then a lot of people have a lot of different strategies. My strategy was taking myself away, going out back onto the street and just giving my head a wobble. Maybe ringing a friend, ringing your leader. Maybe it was just listening to some music or just a bit of a shake up. Sometimes just a walk for 5 minutes around a park or something. And just go over just be like, think about 3 positives of the day. Think about 3 things that you're grateful for. Have a bit of a laugh. Just give your head a wobble. But a really good salesperson said to me, you'll never sell with a bad attitude. So there's no point to keep selling. Go and do whatever makes you feel good for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Give your head a wobble. Do some star jumps. I don't know. Now, the next thing you do is don't go up and try and sell and put loads of pressure on yourself. Just go make a friend. And just don't even think about closing them and just slowly get your mojo back.
That's so true. The best salesperson that I have ever personally seen on the doors always used to tell me, as soon as you think you've lost your attitude, stop. And it's one of the best bits of advice that I ever got on the field, because the number of times that I would go to knock on the door, I'm like, I need 5 minutes. And I would go, and my routine, do you know what it was? I had a song that I always listened to. It made me feel good, which for some reason was Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Don't know why. It just puts me in a good mood. It was that and Fizzy Laces. Because I love sugar. So I would stop. I'd put that song on. I'd have a couple of Fizzy Laces, and I go back. And the number of times I did that, and then my next door was a sale. Ridiculous. And then I would always think to myself after, I'm like, thank God I stopped. Because I knew if I had gone and I hadn't had that kind of reset, I'm never going to sell to them. If I'm not at that 10, I'm not at that positive that I'm supposed to be.
That makes perfect sense.
So
everyone's got like a couple of things that they can do, but you've just got to realize you've lost your attitude and then go and do whatever strategy you need to do to get your attitude back, and then off you pop again, keep going. It's okay to lose your attitude. It's not okay to not do anything about it. People say, do you ever lose your attitude? I'm like, of course. But I lose it for like a microsecond. I'm like, it's done. First time I lost my attitude was like days, weeks. And then, you lose your attitude, you're shorter time, to where you lose your attitude, you're like, oh, okay, fine, let's go. So it's, you get to my level, you become incredibly solution focused. That's all it is. I just find solutions. Building businesses is solving a jigsaw. And once you understand, all you have to do is find the jigsaw and sort through all of the other jigsaws to find the right one, and then you get it, you put it in, you keep doing that, you can build a fantastic business. It's about problem solving with a great attitude. That's it. The difference between somebody succeeding and not succeeding is the one that succeeded got up one more time.
So that's obviously you coming from the perspective that you have now, where you obviously 20 plus years experience in direct sales and building businesses. That makes sense because you obviously deal with problems every day. It's kind of part of the role that you have now in running the business. Take me back to Gilles at 21, 22, still new on the field. I know it. As you said, you lose your attitude for days. Right? How did you get out of like a rut like that? Because obviously if you lose your attitude for days, I can't imagine you doing very many sales in those days. So how do you get out of that? How do you bounce back when you're in one of those?
Somebody told me something that changed my perspective on negatives and challenges.
Okay.
And they were incredibly successful. And they said, the person that can deal with the biggest and most negatives makes the most money.
Okay.
I'm like, oh. So I'm like, so the better I get at dealing with negatives and the more I can handle and keep moving forward, the more money I'm going to make. He's like, absolutely. That spurred me on to become epic with negatives and problems and to become a problem, like a problem solver, a solution finder. And do you know what else? I became so much happier as a human being because nothing got me down anymore. Life became easier because I was focused on the solution. I was focused on what's within my bubble, not the external world and not the problem. And also my goals were quite big. So that little tiny problem I had didn't seem so big when I'm looking at how big my goal was. But for me, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to find the positive in every single negative. Took a bit of work, but at the end I got there. And not only did it make me more successful in my field, it made me a happier human being. Huge for mental health, huge. It's called resilience. If you want to be successful, you've got to be resilient. You have to be resilient. You have to be able to put up with a little bit of shit. You have to be able to deal with a lot of problems. You've got to be able to deal with things that don't go your way. That is life. So get good at dealing with problems. There's a book I read on resilience, and it's this brilliant book. And I believe that the people with the strongest resilience have the best mental health. And it really helps with happiness and fulfillment because you realize that when you're up against something, you don't crumble away or hide away. You can face it front on and you can overcome it and you can become a bigger and better human being at the end of it. It's about growth, and growth doesn't come with a little bit of pain. Shy away from pain, there's no growth. Face up with the pain and overcome it and charge through it and win and find the solution and hit that solution with loads of positive energy. You'll become a stronger human being in your head and you'll have more resilience. And then when you go home and, someone gets annoyed at you or a glass breaks or, something happens at home, it's not a big deal anymore. Everything's going to be okay. And home life becomes easier and work life becomes easier and in your head becomes easier. So yeah, as soon as somebody said that to me, I was like, okay, game on.
I get that from a business perspective, because obviously if you're responsible for loads of people, if you're at the top of the chain, then all of the problems go up the way until they can't stop. And then there's you to deal with all the problems. So I get that from obviously a business owning perspective. As a sales representative on the field, when you're, on the doors, talk to me about using that to just deal with a customer, deal with someone on the door who's being negative.
Yeah. That used to really affect me, being told to go away and get a real job. And then someone said something, I just pick up on quotes. And somebody said, so I got told to F off, right? Okay. And get a real job. And this guy was quite mean. And I was like, oh my God.
It hurts.
Hurts. Yeah. Well, does he even know who I am? I'm a good person. Anyway, I was with this guy called Fike.
Huh?
It's his name, Fike.
Okay.
Cool guy.
Like Mike with an F?
yeah,
Cool.
Fike. Coolest guy ever. From America.
Nice. Of course he is with a name like that.
Yeah, of course. He was the coolest dude ever. He's like, what's up, man? And I was just like, oh, I just gutted. Some guy really had a go at me. He's like, what did he say? And I told him. And he's like, he must have had a bad day. I'm like, what do you mean? And he went, for a human being to talk to another human being that they don't know and be that rude, he's got issues. He's the one with the issues, not you, dude. Mm-hmm. And he walked me through that. He's like, for a human being to be so rude to somebody, there must be something really bad going on in his life right now, and you just have to respect that and move on. That's not him talking to you. That's just him talking to the world.
It's an outlet.
It's just an outlet, and you were there, man. It's got nothing to do with you. I feel really sorry for that guy. I was like, you feel sorry for him? After he spoke to me like that, he goes, he's probably got some really serious issues. Would you ever talk to anyone like that? I'm like, no. And he goes, because you're a great guy with so much going for you. He's obviously doesn't have much going for him and something bad's happening. Maybe a lot of things are bad happening. So he's angry. He doesn't go to sleep with a smile on his face, Gilles. I feel really sorry for him because things must be really tough. Changed the game. Another guy, get a real job. You should get a real job. And then, you know, you look at that guy and you're like, well, maybe you and me both, you know? You're just like, how could you say that to a human being? There must be something. People that say things instantly like that have often got something going wrong in their life, and maybe they're not happy in their career, so they feel good about trying to put you down. Or, you know, someone was really rude to me the other day on the field. And the guy next to me was like, God, she was really rude to you. I don't know why people are rude to you. I'm like, well, A, they don't know me, right? And B, maybe she's got anxiety, or maybe she just, you know, she doesn't want to speak to anybody, or maybe she's had really bad news, or maybe she, you know, maybe that's just the way she is, and that's okay. But remember, she's a red light, and we only want green lights. And there's a lot of people out there that are quite sad, and it is sad, and it makes me feel appreciative of what I've got. And I'm not someone that's going to turn around and go, you know, F you, or go away, or get a real job. You know, when people knock on our door, you know, we usually sign up. We high five them to go, keep going, man. Because we got a great life and we're happy. And if somebody's out there and knocking on doors trying to build a living, I have respect for salespeople. I have respect. People grafting, huge respect no matter what you do. Just keep doing the right thing. So, did that answer the question?
Yeah, 100%. You know,
Are we good with that?
Yeah, because it's you just don't know what's going on the other side of the door.
Bubble. What's in your bubble?
Yeah, like, and
Don't let them in your bubble.
I think that's probably important to remember. It can feel so personal when, you know, they're like, you know, F off or go get a real job. But like you said, you don't know. Maybe someone's just died. You know, maybe they're just not having a good day. Maybe their back hurts.
Maybe the doctor said they got bad stuff going on in their body, you know? Like,
you just don't know. So I think from the sounds of it, I think what I'm picking up here is that it just comes back to control what you can control. Focus on what you
in your bubble.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes into your bubble, you say, get out my bubble, bitch. Get out my bubble, bitch. This is a beautiful place. Get out.
Okay, fair enough. It's easier, I suppose, to keep people outside of your bubble. But what about keeping yourself out of your bubble? What I mean by that is that little voice in your head. When positive Gilles is in there, it's a lovely place to be. When it's the Gilles who's like, it's 6 o'clock, Gilles. It's 7 o'clock, Gilles. You haven't done any sales yet. How do you deal with him?
Yeah. So number one, awareness. You've got to be aware and go, okay, cool. It's not easy. It is very, very difficult, and it takes a lot of practice to get really, really good. So there's 2 steps to it. Number one is being aware of your negative thoughts, and I say hello to them. So if I have a really negative thought, I go, whoa. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's negative. I now laugh at them. I didn't used to laugh at them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I know you know how to deal with it
now. I'm like, woo, come on, dude. I definitely didn't used to laugh at them. I'd be like, oh no. And then I'd be like, you're wrong. And the thought would get bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, oh, I'm a crazy man. And you're not. Everyone has bad thoughts. People that think, oh, I'm an overthinker, you know, everyone's an overthinker. Overthinkers usually just need more of an organized structure to stick to. That's what usually happens. It's, you know, an overthinking, you know, we're all overthinkers. Have you got a structure to stick to? Have you got a system to stick to?
Yep.
Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Have you knocked a door? No. Stop thinking and knock. Come on, dude. You know, I don't sit out my ice bath going, should I, shouldn't I? Should
I need to get in the ice bath.
Shouldn't I, shouldn't I? Oh my God, this ice bath is going to be so cold. I'm going to be such a terror. Get in the ice bath. Let's go. Head first. So, it's quite a fun topic to talk about, isn't it? So I first of all acknowledge my thoughts, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's so yeah, I can acknowledge them and I can laugh at them. Now I'm like, whoa, Gilles, whoa, where'd that come from? That's definitely not you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, that's not you, so you can stick around or not, but we don't need you here, dude. And then the thought usually just disappears. But I've done this for years. And then I'll do a bit of self-talk. I'll be like, remember how freaking great you are. Do you know what I mean? I always say this, and I'll let everybody know. I'm just like, I'm 43 and shit's good. Let's go. But that's what I say to myself.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like 43 and things are good, dude. Let's go. Do you know what I mean? I always say things like, only one person got you here, Gilly boy, and that's you. Stand up, be proud, let's go. So I say stuff to me that motivates me. When I was Gilles in my 20s, it was a lot more difficult. But, you know, again, somebody told me, went through networking, which is where I get all my information to how to exist. You do, don't you? You think I can figure it out on my own? No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you definitely can't. The system was, okay, hello, negative thought. You are not helping me get to where I want to get to. You can stay or go, you can choose, but this is the direction I'm going in. And I'm going to go and do X, Y, and Z. That's what I used to do. I do a lot of meditation. I meditate every day for 20 to 30 minutes. That really helps negative thoughts. Meditation sort of chisels out the negativity within my brain. I think everyone should meditate. It helps with my mental strength, my mental health, my negative thoughts, my positivity, my clarity, my calmness, my effectiveness. Meditation's powerful. And people are like, oh, I don't have time to meditate. I do. First thing I do when I wake up, I go downstairs, I brush my teeth, I have half a liter of water, and I go straight down into a certain sitting room of mine, which is away from dogs and children. And I just sit there and meditate I've been on plenty of courses on meditation. There's apps. Do it for 5 minutes.
No, you don't need loads. And
do it on public transport.
That was actually giving my exact question. I was thinking that because we've spoken about it before, and you really helped me understand the meditation thing, and the way you likened it was it's the bicep curl of refocusing on the stillness,
awareness,
and on the breath, and it's that awareness.
Everything's awareness. It's like, oh, I've lost my attitude. Yeah. Oh, I got a negative thought. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm distracted. I'm
distracted. Again. Oh, I'm not focused. Oh, I'm not knocking. It's just catching yourself.
Yep.
Oh, I'll let that person affect me. Oh, bang. It's awareness. Yeah. And once you're aware, so yeah, meditation for me is huge.
In a sense, I almost feel like if you're trying to get into meditation, I almost feel like public transport is better because it's like there's more distractions. So in a sense, you're like trying to focus. You have to do more bicep curls. I might be wrong. I'm just.
I was on a flight on Monday from the south of France to Edinburgh. I think it was about 2 and a bit hours long, 2 hours 15 long. I meditated the entire way.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't stay silent in my head for 2.5 hours, let me tell you, you know. But I just love now, after I've done it for years, I just close my eyes and off I go into my little world. I come in and out of a meditative state. I slept so well, and I woke up Tuesday morning because it was Monday I flew, and I woke up Tuesday morning and I felt just a new man, so positive, so fresh, so ready, so just focused. It was beautiful. Yeah. So I think meditation is big to helping with negative thoughts. If you go to Headspace,
Yep.
and I think everybody should do basics course 1, 2, 3, and then professional course 1, 2, 3, 4. It teaches you how to deal with negative thoughts.
Okay, cool.
It teaches you what are thoughts and how to do positive thoughts. The other thing I do is I do a lot of gratification work. So it's like, what am I grateful for? And I list like 3 things that I'm really, really grateful for and focus on that. And it just makes you feel so good. The other thing is I ask myself questions. So what are you going to do? And I'll answer it. It's way more powerful. Or I'll tell myself how great I am, and you're 43, and look at what you know who you are and what you've done, and you just try and feel good about yourself, and whatever you think is good about you, you can reiterate in your head. It just makes you feel good, and sometimes I just I don't take it seriously. I always walk around going, 43, come on. Do you know what I mean? I burst out laughing. Yeah, it's quite funny. But puts me in a good mood. So why not do it?
Which is the ultimate goal, isn't it?
The ultimate goal is if I put myself in a good mood, then and I can light up a room, then I can inspire people to go and succeed. So let's go and sell. So yeah, awareness, talking, instead of saying to your negative thoughts, go away, no. It's like, hey man, you're odd. Stay or go, you do you. But this is the direction I'm going in. And I think it's important. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, no, it did. It made me laugh because it reminded me of something that one of the best baseball coaches that I ever had growing up. Is a wee mantra he always used to tell us was look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah.
And it's that idea of, if whatever it is that works for you, if you can figure that out and then channel that and focus on that, then you feel good. If you feel good, then you're going to go play good. You're going to go perform well because you're getting yourself where you need to be that top performer. We kind of spoke about that a bit in the past. So something else that you spoke about and you mentioned earlier on that I wanted to talk a bit more about was dropping your ego. You kind of just mentioned that, but you didn't really go into it in too much detail. Tell me a bit more about that.
Ego. I think ego is important for some areas, not important for most areas.
Okay.
Ego is your fight and flight mode. So it'll really help you when you need it to. This whole mentality of I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to figure it out myself. I don't need anybody. Is crazy and will stop you from succeeding and getting to where you want to get to. I know everything, I know it all. All of this sort of like these connotations and these sort of egotistical thoughts really stop you from, I'm right, listen to me. This is what I think and this is why it's right. All of that will push people away and will stop you progressing. The older you get, the more you realize you know so little. And the older I get, the more I realize you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
And the older I get, the more I realize I don't know much. But 21, thought I knew it all.
Yep.
That's really like that ego's like, raw, gets you out of the bed in the morning. I'm going to be number one, which is great. The ego's at 7 o'clock. Oh, I'm not going to stop, Fine. Great. That's a good thing. I always think there's 2 Gilles. There's the 43 and there's the 21. And the 21-year-old Gilles was full of ego, which is fine. I wish I had less of it back then and more empathy and understanding and compassion and thirst for knowledge and understanding of what true success was, but that's not life. And that wasn't my journey, and that is what it is. I'm thankful I found it and I'm on the journey. Would have I liked to have been 10 years ago? Of course. Don't we all? But that's not the way it is. And that's okay. But I've got a good future ahead of me. So you've got to learn, if you want to build a people-based business or you want to get great at sales, you've got to drop the ego and go, I'm not the finished article. I'm miles off where I want to be. What do I need to do to get to the next level? Help me. How can I help you to help me? What do you want from me? I will do in order. Can you help me progress? I used to, I now read, I do podcasts. I've got multiple physical coaches. I'm going to go on more coaching courses. I do a lot of Gen Z work. I just realized the more I get into learning, not only do I realize how much I didn't know, but as I learn, it makes things so much easier because you stop making as many mistakes. Making mistakes isn't bad, but wouldn't it be great to have the answers? Yeah. You don't have the answers, but the answers are out there. So you go find them and life becomes so easy. You can complete the stages of life so much easier. So once people realize that and they're more open to learning, and they can be more vulnerable. I don't mean vulnerable sitting there crying. I'm like, vulnerability is like, yeah, I am struggling and I'm not where I want to be. And I don't think I have the skill set or the attitude to get to where I want to be. So how do I find that? How can I find that information and how can I spread that to other people so we can all learn and grow together? That's the difference.
Well, I think it comes back to that same undertone of awareness that we've kind of spoke about so far on this podcast. Is just, it's not vulnerability in a bad sense. It's just the willingness to accept, all right, cool, there's some work I got to do here, and that's fine because there always is.
My shit stinks.
Yeah,
there's
always.
It's just, it is what it is, and we're all on a journey together, but our starting lines are in different points. But that's okay. We're all enough. As long as you do the right thing by people, as long as you add value to you've got to add value to the world. If you want big from the universe, you've got to do big for the universe. If you want big from mankind, you've got to give mankind something. I believe I was put here to help people and show people how to succeed in sales and how to change their lives for the better and give them a skill set that can change their world and their bubble. I think it's really, really important, and that's how I'm going to give back to people. I meet so many people that had similar upbringings and worse upbringings than me. I was told I wasn't good enough. I was told I was not going to succeed to anything, amount to anything. I was told that I was just not good enough, and I was made to feel that I was not good enough a lot of my childhood, and that's not cool. But sales has set me free. Huge, so powerful. It's life-changing. Sometimes I'm scared. I look back and I think, imagine the path that I could have taken and gone into a role where I couldn't have inspired people and helped people and changed people's lives. In the industry that I'm in, there are so many examples around the country that set us all free. There's people that have built campaigns from scratch in 7 weeks. There's one particular person on a campaign, 7 weeks, and she's built over 14,000 pounds in 7 weeks.
Is it like in a week?
She's built a campaign that's doing 14,000 pounds gross in sales, and she's done that in 7 weeks. She sets people free. There's one young man in the Midlands running a business, and he's generating 1.5 million pounds a year. Christian, he's doing over 30,000 pounds worth of gross sales a week. He's setting people free. Another lad that you know of that's gone to Leeds. He's started his own business. Within 8 weeks, he's doing £8,000 a week. He's built his own business from scratch within 8 weeks. He's making life-changing money. Most businesses don't make money in their first 6 to 12 months. Most businesses have to, get angel investors and investors in. Not this young man. No. No. £8,000 in 8 weeks by himself. He's setting people free. This industry, I love this industry because it set me free. I love this industry. I'm just going to repeat this again because it sets people free. How many kids are being told every day that they're not good enough in one way or in one form or another?
I would hope none, but I'm sure the answer is loads.
Billions, right? How many millions? Probably not billions. I hope not.
But millions probably, yeah.
Multi-millions. How many people are in a job and just want more but don't know what to do? We need to set these people free. How many people are just lost, not knowing what to do? I was in Marseille airport on Monday, and I saw this young chap that was working in the duty-free store, and he looked about, 19, 20, and he looked so bored. And he just stood and stared at every man and lady that looked wealthy with Rolexes, and I saw him clocking on. That guy needs sales. We need to set him free. There are so many people out there that need sales, but don't know they need sales. They want an opportunity, and I'm just so passionate about finding these people and giving them what they want because, I too was, sales fits a lot of people, right? And it also fits a lot of misfits that don't fit into the schooling system. I used to get in so much trouble at school because I was so hyper.
Yep.
I had ADHD. How can you sit an ADHD 8-year-old with severe ADHD in a classroom and expect him not, in an English or maths classroom and expect him not to act out? How? Come on, how?
Here you go, ADHD child. Sit and focus for 7 hours.
Yeah, sit and focus for 7 hours. You had no chance. No wonder I got out of the classroom and started throwing bins around the garden. I just had to let energy out. Do you know what I mean? Put me on a sports field. I was great. I'm dyslexic. So I'm creative. I'm really creative. So I'm good at sales because I can create situations in my head to help me to sell. I didn't succeed in school. So we need to get all these people that didn't really fit in school, that maybe have ADHD, maybe have dyslexia, maybe have all these sort of things, maybe have none, but just want an opportunity and show them what can be created. It's powerful. All these success stories, I was set free and I want to set other people free. I went on a bit of a tangent. I'm just quite passionate about it because the older I get, and then I see my children and their children going through starting the same sort of patterns I did. And I'm like, there's a few kids. I'm like, you need sales in your life. You need sales in your life. It's true.
So off the back of that, you've obviously done the field before, and you've progressed yourself through to the point where you're now running your own company. You've seen loads of other examples of that to the industry, as you've said. So it'd be interesting to hear, in your opinion, like a sort of step-by-step kind of guide or blueprint of what worked for you and what you've seen work for others as far as getting to that point.
Okay, cool. So I made some notes on this one because this is quite an important topic. So I was, in my industry, you have to succeed on the field. You've got to be a ninja in the field, right? You've got to be very, very good. So I think there's 7 steps I've got.
Okay.
Or 8 steps, sorry. So I've made some notes because this is really, really important. So number 1 is you need a routine from the moment that you wake up in the morning. I'm very, very routine focused. And the reason why you need to be routine focused is because if you have a routine, every single day that you do the same thing at pretty much the same time, your brain can do that task more effectively the next day.
Yep.
So you become better at that routine and that habit or that task every single day. So if you get up at 7 o'clock and you go and, brush your teeth and meditate and go for a jog or do some sit-ups or some push-ups, if you do that over a span of 6 weeks, you'll be able to meditate better. You'll be able to do more push-ups. You'll be able to do more sit-ups. Everything, you'll be able to get out of bed easier. Every part of that will become easier and you'll become a more effective and efficient human being. Bang. So powerful. Also, when you have a routine, you are following a routine, there's no other distractions. You are not making silly little tiny decisions, and it reserves brain power for the bigger tasks in your day. Routine is key.
Well, it's the Steve Jobs things, isn't it? The turtlenecks.
Yeah.
Right. So I you told me the story, but like obviously he always wore the black turtleneck. He was iconic for that. But the reason for people that don't know is he calls it decision fatigue, and he knew if he gets up and he has to think about what he's wearing, that's like taken away from the decisions. He's got so many good ones.
Yeah.
So we wear the same thing every time, because that means it's just one other thing for him to think about. I think important caveat there. You've spoke about your routine before, and there's 27 different things that you do. It's not that you have to do the same routine as Gilles. It's just finding the routine.
A routine that works for you. Yeah. Doesn't have to be big. It could be get up. It could be get up. It could be have a coffee. It could be iron your shirt. It could be do jogging on the spot for 10 seconds. It could be having a shower. It could be, walking to the same coffee shop and having the same coffee every single morning. Just something that's something that's exciting and not too different. That works for me. It's very important because as you get on through your day, if you can keep routines throughout your day, you become more effective and more efficient at each routine, which you obviously just get better at each task. And that's how you progress.
Okay, great.
If you don't have a routine, there's so many other variables you open your bubble up to. You're going to get decision fatigue. You're going to get your brain's going to tire quicker. And you're always looking around you. It's just not the same feeling. You don't have the same energy. Your focus is all over, just trying to get through the day. Whereas, if a taxi comes and picks you up at 8 a.m. every single morning and you book it every day for 8 a.m., you're going to get to work on time. If you just go out there at 7:50 and say, it's okay, we'll catch a bus. Hopefully a bus will come past, or I'll hail a cab, or, I might ride a bike today. So many variables coming in, so many different situations. You might get to work, you might not get to work on time. It's crazy. So I have a routine in the morning. I have a routine in the office. I have a routine in the field, and I have a routine at night. And I love it.
Great. 1, routine, bosh.
2, number mentality. You got to have the mentality. I'm going to go out there and win today. I'm going to go out and lift 200 quid today. I'm going to go out and beat Bobby and Bill today. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go out and get top of that leaderboard. You've got to have that locker room motivation of, I'm going to go out and sell today. Like it's happening today. You've got to have that discipline to get your motivation ready. I've got my short term, my long term, or if it's backward or forward or whatever you're focusing on, it's like, this is what I'm going to go and achieve, and let's go. So you've got to have that, send me anywhere, send me any product, send me any weather, and I'm going to go lift 200 quid mentality every single day, and just psych yourself up. You got to get disciplined at getting to that level. Do not wake up. Anybody, do not wake up and hope you're going to wake up in a great mood with a great mentality. You won't. You may not. I don't know. I don't. But I'm good at getting myself in my routine through self-talk and dealing with negative thoughts to a good mentality. Number 2 is have a good mentality. Number 3, I used to love networking on my pitch and improving. I used to love getting a new overturn, a soft close. I loved different closing lines. I loved different sales techniques. I just fell in love with learning how to get better at sales. I felt it was just like a problem solving. It was like the Rubik's Cube. They talk about fighting in UFC as the ultimate problem solving game. The problem is the finished result, you could be knocked out. Thankfully in sales, it's a no, you're not going to get knocked out. You open the door, it's problem solving till you close that. So you've got to solve each problem Go away. No, I'm not going to. I don't want to, I don't want telco or energy. Yes, you do, and here's why. Here's all the problems what I've got with your product, or here's all the reasons why these problems don't exist anymore. I don't want it. This is why you do want it. You're constantly problem solving to the end. It's this great problem solving, this great quiz, it's great.
Love overtime.
If you look at if you change your perspective on sales, it's great. It's problem solving. It's a challenge. It's a game. Let's go. So I used to love having a great pitch, and always updating my pitch and always talking to people about sales because it kept it fresh. Yeah. Green lights, number 4. You've got to find the green lights. Pace. 2 laps, 3 laps, keep a tick sheet, know every door, every outcome, know every person's name, the local school, the local this, the local that, know your territory, do 2-3 laps every single day. And just the faster you walk, the more doors you'll knock. The more doors you'll knock, the more people will open the door. The more people open the door, the more green lights you will find. The more green lights, Christian, the more sales. It's really that simple. It's a work ethic game. And I was quite good at work ethic. There's a lot of things I struggled with, but work ethic I found quite easy. I'm just like, let's just keep knocking. Don't think, just knock. Don't think, just run. Attitude, got to have a great attitude. Got to be positive, got to be energetic, got to be ready to go. You've got to do that check on the way. Number 7, no unnecessary distractions. So for me, it was like I get up and do my routine, and I get to the office, and then I'm in the office, and I'm doing what I need to do. Okay, I'm to get myself ready. When you leave the office to leaving the field, that there is quite tricky because people can go off. So you get all of this. You get to a certain level of preparation for the field, and you can come out of the office on your way to the territory and you can get distracted by phone calls, music, social media, and just completely fall off for up to an hour.
Yep.
Then you're expected to climb back up on the horse and start going, and it's hard. So keep the momentum going by talking about sales, doing pitch practice if there's anybody around you, reading your notes, doing anything that you can do to keep your motivation high. Talk about goals, talk about exciting things, talk about, things that are interesting to do with what you're doing every single day. I think is really, really important. Keeping that momentum high. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And don't going off on your own, sitting by yourself, texting your girlfriend, watching social media and watching what people are pretending to do. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help your bubble. The next one, number 7, I think we're at.
I think you said that was 7, but I think you meant 6. So yeah.
Number 7 is you've got to be a systematic salesperson.
Yeah.
Which means that that you got a great pitch, great pace, great attitude, smile, eye contact, enthusiasm, find loads of green lights, do your 2 laps, have your tick sheet, you got your 5 steps, you got your 8 steps, you got all these things that, lots of salespeople have out there. And you know that you can go to any territory with any product, with any weather, any country, any city. And if you stick to that simple system and you apply pressure on the system, then you're going to go out there and do 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. If you go into the field going, I hope I do, I feel good today, or, I hope everything goes well today, or I hope things, shine my way today, you're going to be very consistent up and down. As I said before, you're going to be chasing the wrong answers. And have fun. Have fun. It's a people business. People buy people. They don't buy products and services.
Yep.
How is it one day somebody can go out and do 0 and the next day they do 7? It's because they smile. People love enthusiastic people. People love energy. People love to love. People love to smile. You know, make people smile. I used to be like, one of my things was just make a friend. Hey, how you doing?
You said that a few times.
Yeah.
I've noticed
Hey,
that.
how you doing? Oh my God, you're a dog. That's fantastic. What sort of dog is that? Oh my God, can I touch the dog? Can I pat the dog? Do you know what I mean? Oh, you got kids? Hey kids, how you doing? You know, I was on the field the other day and there was a load of kids and I'm like, Messi or Ronaldo, Messi or Ronaldo. And they're like, Ronaldo. And I'm like, yeah. And then I knocked on a door, you know, half an hour later, and one of the kids was in there, and he went, Ronaldo, and I went, Ronaldo. And the mom's like, what's going on? And I'm like, your son's a Ronaldo fan. I'm a massive Ronaldo fan. I said, you know, who's he playing for at the moment? And we started chatting, you know, to this like 8-year-old kid. And I was like, anybody else? What about, you know, such and such and such and such? And he's like, no, I love Ronaldo. And I'm like, Mum, Ronaldo's the way forward. Are you a Ronaldo fan, Mum? And Mum's like, well, you know, I try. And then bang, sale. So easy. You know, it's just have fun with people. Or if I came to the door and was like, you know, militantry, you know, stone face, trying to be a, you know, hardcore salesperson, you get nowhere.
Yep.
But if you're fun and you smile and you're a people person, then, you know, people buy enthusiasm, you know, people buy somebody having a great time. So many times in the field, people would go, oh, do you know what? Because it's you, let's do it. You know, and I'm like, hey, just have fun with people.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
One of the best bits of advice that I ever got is BIM, the biggest idiot makes the most money.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. Just have fun with people. High five people, high five grandmas. Do you know what I mean? Get grandpa to tell us a story. Just be interested in people, and then they'll be interested in what you're selling.
Yeah.
And it won't happen every door, but if you do that to, you know, a couple of green lights, you'll get a sale. You do that to loads of green lights, you'll get loads and loads of sales. You know, just smile, eye contact, enthusiasm, make a friend. Let's go.
Okay, great. I love that. So sorry, can you just give me a quick run through then overview of your steps there? Just so we've got them all. One nice, neat week.
So routines.
Yep.
Start to form some routines.
Yep.
You know, so you know, even like going to the field, like trying to get to the field the same time every single day. Like, yeah, just keep everything the same. Try your tick sheets the same, your 2 laps is the same, and as much possible throughout the day as the same. Do so. Routines. Have the right mentality going into the field. Have your goals. Have your motivations ready. Pitch. It's what you say. Pace. The more people you knock on, the more green lights you're going to find.
Yep.
Attitude. It's your positivity and your energy throughout the day. Don't be distracted by distractions. Like, keep focused and keep on there. Be very systematic. You know, we've got, you know, I'm sure every sales company's got their systems. Become a systematic salesperson and apply pressure on the system. Don't apply pressure on yourself, because then you'll talk yourself out of it. You know, and the last thing is have fun. It's people. It's just people. And people want to have fun. You know, what's one of the biggest industries in the world? Comedy.
Yeah.
Because what do people do?
Laugh.
Just want to have fun. So just go have fun with people. Do you know what I mean? And then close.
Okay, great. I love that. Thank you. That was nice, nice and concise there at the end. My last one then, we've obviously spoke loads about the field in this episode, which has been great. So any secret weapons on the field?
Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Just be enthusiastic. Be passionate. Be enthusiastic. Don't be boring. Be enthusiastic. I think my biggest thing is I just get excited about, you know, the industry that I'm in. I absolutely adore it. The older I get, Christian, the more I love my industry, the more I appreciate it, the more I feel so lucky to have found it, so grateful that I worked so hard and stayed true. You know, if you do this business properly, it's amazing. Yeah, I just enthusiastic, because people want to get excited about something. And if you can raise people's impulses, then you can create huge things. So just get excited with people and you'll have a great time. And just have a great time doing what you're doing. If you have a great time, everyone else around when you have a great time. So yeah, enthusiasm is my secret weapon for all those ninjas out there on the field.
I love it. I'm into this. I've actually really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah,
Now that
me
I have
too.
in previous ones. I kind of want to go knock some doors now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in.
We just go.
Yeah, it's what, 4 o'clock? We start prime time.
Let's go. Look, thanks again for coming back on. It's
Yeah,
been great.
pleasure.
I hope that some of your sales and brand ambassadors have got the answers because they were desperate. They were
Hope
hitting
so.
me up. So fingers crossed. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Christian Dye. It's been the Extra 5%.